When you come to Verona, you are finally coming home. When you come to Verona, it's a place to call your own. When you come to Verona, you're finally coming home, and you learn what it means to be a family.
Hello everybody, I'm Anthony Lombardi, the owner of Anthony Roberts Salon here in Verona, and I would like to welcome you all to the Verona Chamber of Commerce Roundtable discussion. Today our first guest will be from the Verona Municipal Alliance, Roseanne Bornstein and Suzanne Brouillon. Yes. I get it right?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Welcome ladies, how are you today?
Good, thank you.
Okay, so I was looking over your questions, and the first thing I saw was the VMAC. Can you explain to me what is VMAC and what is the mission of the Verona Municipal Alliance?
Well, VMAC, as you just said, is the Verona Municipal Alliance Committee. We are chartered by the Governor's Council of Alcohol and Drug Abuse from the state of New Jersey, which was begun 22 years ago by the governor at that time. And each town in the state of New Jersey has a Municipal Alliance Committee whose purpose is to bring education and information to the community for the information on alcohol and drug abuse and whatever the community needs.
Okay.
And so we are each charged with finding needs within the community and then addressing those needs.
Right.
Our mission, as stated on our website, is the Verona Municipal Alliance Committee provides educational programming and prevention outreach to the citizens of Verona. Its funding comes from a grant through the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse with matching funds from the Township of Verona. VMAC was authorized by the Township of Verona in 1989 to promote the prevention efforts of the state of New Jersey at the community level.
Okay. That's great. Now, Suzanne, I see that you have something in your hand today about the Safe Homes campaign, and it's going on now. Can you tell us?
Now. This is our fairly new Safe Homes logo, and for a $10 donation, you can get a lawn sign saying you support Safe Homes. And this was created, by the way, by Maddie Boyle, who is a VHS student. She's very talented. And Safe Homes is probably the oldest program that VMAC does. It was started by the original parent group, Verona Cares, that preceded VMAC. It's a national program that the Verona community participates in, and it has two goals. One is to educate parents about what is the law in New Jersey about underage drinking and drug use. That I'll just imply drug use. Yeah. Obviously, you shouldn't be giving drugs to people. And the law is that you cannot serve alcohol to a minor that is not your child. You can be arrested and serve up to 6 months in jail or pay a $1,000 fine. So people get confused about that. It is illegal. And so it's an education campaign. And the second goal of Safe Homes is for like-minded parents to sign a pledge saying, I will not serve alcohol or drugs on my property. And there's a second pledge, and that appeals more to sort of the kindergarten through 6th grade parent, that they'll lock up their firearms, lock up their toxic chemicals in their homes, and monitor computer use. That's a big thing,
It's great. I think it's some of the things have gotten so out of control, like you said, with the internet, and, the fact that you have to even say, a pledge that you're going to lock up your firearms. Wouldn't you think that would just become second nature to people?
But we know from example that it's not.
It's not. People keep loaded weapons in their house all the time. And it's a question that people don't ask. If you have little boys, ask that question, because little boys just can't resist if they come across a gun.
Of course. Yeah,
yes.
It's about being a little boy. It's the curiosity, especially with the firearms. But no, thank you very much, and I hope as a business owner, somebody that doesn't live in the town, I think that's fantastic. And if there's a way to get the businesses involved, I'd be more than happy to listen to what you guys had.
Oh, that's a great idea. And I just want to say, this is all online now. It is the 21st century. It started in the 1980s. We've updated it. All you have to do is go to our website, vmacnj.org, and you just click and you've signed the pledge.
Thank you.
And you can order a sign that way as well.
Thank you. Now, my next question to you guys is something that affects me, and I'm going to tell you right out, because family night. It's going to be October 17th this year.
Yes.
Now, in the past, I've always, as a business owner and someone who works nights in the town, I've always wondered why there were certain nights that were a lot slower than most. And over the years, I found out that it was family night. That's why my business was suffering on those nights.
Oh, it's so interesting. I never thought. I never
I'm only
thought
kidding.
about
I
that.
think it's a great idea, but for years, I would say to a couple of years, I would say to myself, why is tonight so slow?
Because everybody's at the restaurants or their home. Yes.
You have to start serving dinner and then join family night.
I guess I do, but for somebody who doesn't know all about it, can you tell me about what family night is?
Family night was started about 10 years ago in Verona. And actually there's, a national program. It's called Family Day. But here in Verona, we do family night. And what we do is a coordination between the township and the schools and the restaurant community. If people want to go out, they don't have to go out to eat. And there are no practices, there are no games, there's no homework. It's an opportunity to just stop because it's crazy. It's so busy. There's band, there's football, there's cheerleading, there's theater, there's AP tests. It gets really crazy. So it's a night just to stop and enjoy one another. And the restaurants participate by giving coupons out. And on those nights, if you drive around Verona, the restaurants are packed. And we have it on, it's coming up October 17th. I just sent the coupon out to Steve Forte, who I know is coming here. And it'll be up on the school's Friday folder. It went out to OLL, so those families can enjoy family night. And then, of course, it'll be up on our website.
Now, is it something that you do, is it every month?
No.
No, it's not every month, okay.
It's every October. And every March we do family
Every
night.
October and every March.
And in March we have a poster contest at HBW Middle School, and then that's the poster that goes up in the restaurant and the schools for the year.
Okay.
And people who don't have children in school can pick up the coupon sheet at either the Verona Community Center, or at the library, or online off of our website.
I'm thinking maybe.
Because I've gone out with my husband and we don't have kids anymore.
Right.
So, yeah.
I'm thinking maybe like a family haircut coupon might be something for that night I might want to get.
I want to just put a plug. The Verona Public Library has tagged on a library event on family night for parents to come to the library and enjoy their program, which I think is a great thing. So if businesses want to do things like what you just said, we're open to that.
We'll talk. Maybe we'll have a discussion. But it sounds to me like the Verona Municipal Alliance is doing a lot of great things, and I think that you guys are really doing a lot of things for the community. Just real quick, what do you guys have planned for the future? Like, what are some of the future events and stuff that you guys are planning?
Oh, there's lots going on. Again, for families, we are working with the Recreation Department, particularly Connie Pfeiffer, in a parenting program on October 22nd. Tom Palermo is coming to present a program at the VCC, Stop the Yelling and Gang Cooperation. You need to register for the program by contacting Connie here at the Recreation Department and for that evening. For our seniors, we are having a program Wednesday, November 6th, 1 p.m. here at the Community Center. Adrienne Restivo-Levitt is having an encore presentation. She spoke last year to our seniors as well. They loved her so much they asked her to come back again, and that is open to the public. You don't have to be a member, but of course they'd love you to join. We have a new ropes course indoor here at the Community Center. You can see we have a partnership with the Community Center. Come to the upstairs gym and look up. Steve Neal has coordinated with us to create a indoor center and adventure course, and community groups can arrange with Steve to bring their groups to have an event of adventure work, teamwork, team building, parties, all kinds of things can happen here at the Community Center on our ropes course. And that's in addition to our outdoor rope course that's been in existence across from the high school on the hill leaning up to Hillwood.
Right.
We also have a Babes program, not to forget the littlest ones, for the kids who are after school. We ran it in Forest during the spring, and we'll be having it in one of the other schools in the fall, and again each school next year, so that our little ones get the Babes program, which is an awareness program geared to kindergarten through fourth graders on talking to strangers, what to eat, not to touch, that kind of thing. And we welcome the public to join us and to have input on the programs that we have, on what is needed here in Verona. We have a brand new grant starting in July of 2014 that I'm crafting now, so that if you have any concerns about what's going on in Verona that has to do with the cultural and social environment here in Verona, that we are open to your needs and your suggestions so that we can incorporate it into the grant, and join us on the committee.
Great. Why don't you give everybody your contact information where you can be reached at?
I can be reached through the town hall. I have a box there, and anyone there would take a message there, or through our email address, which is
veronamac@gmail.com.
Thank you.
veronamac@gmail.com. Well, thank you, ladies. It was a pleasure talking to you today, and I'm really, I learned a lot today, and I'm interested in maybe, working in some capacity with the Verona Municipal Alliance. So maybe in the future we could sit down and have some sort of discussion.
We would love that.
Thank
That
you
would be
very
great.
much. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back shortly with our next guest. Welcome back, everyone, to the Verona Chamber of Commerce Roundtable. I am your host, Anthony Lombardi of Anthony Roberts Salon. And now I am with one of the Roundtable's favorite guests, Joyce Carusi of the Sylvan Learning Center. How are you, Joyce?
Good, Anthony. Thank you. Thanks for the kind words.
Thank you.
Thank you for the invitation to participate. I'm glad to be back, and I'm especially glad that the program is back on the air.
Yeah, me too. It's good to have it back. I think it's something that Verona needs, and I think it serves a purpose in Verona, and we're all glad it's back. Just let me ask you a question. This is the time of year when high school students are preparing for their SATs and their PSATs.
Yes.
Now, what is it that parents should know about these tests and planning for college, and what should parents know about understanding some of the scores that the kids get on these tests?
Sure. Parents need to think about how early planning should start for college admission. Sometimes we think about filling out applications at the beginning of senior year, and that's true. But the planning for the process needs to start a whole lot earlier. If you're the parent of a sophomore or a junior, this time of year is very important because the PSAT will be given, depending on your school, either on October 16th or October 19th. For sophomores, it's optional. Some schools recommend that sophomores take the PSAT, some don't. For juniors, it's mandatory. Every junior takes the PSAT, yeah, and must be registered. So if you have a student who hasn't registered yet, that has to happen, and it's given right at your own school. Then the scores come in before the Christmas holidays. They're sent to the schools distribute them to parents, and at that point, you have good information as to where your child is starting. What are those scores? So it's an important step in the process, and it helps you then know how much studying and preparation is needed before the spring SAT, because all juniors will take the SAT in March, May, or June, sometimes one time, sometimes twice in the spring of junior year. So those scores are extremely important. And we invite all parents, any parents who want to know more about the process and just want a little help in understanding that complicated score report, to just stop in and see me. Give me a call, or better yet, bring the report into Sylvan. That's an absolutely free meeting, and I'd be glad to go over that report with any parent who wants to know more about how to interpret it.
Great, thank you very much. Now, my son's 4, so I think I'm a little.
Yes,
I'm a little
you have
early to
time.
start planning. I have a little bit of time.
You have time.
For parents who just received their child's, like, let's say their ASK scores, okay, what do they mean, and what do they need to know about the Common Core standards of those tests?
Sure. The state of New Jersey and the nation is in a period of change with regard to curriculum development, curriculum design, and testing. So for the past maybe about 10 years now, all students in the state of New Jersey from 3rd grade to 8th grade have been taking the New Jersey Ask. Parents are used to hearing about it. Parents are used to getting those reports. The exams have typically been given in late April or early May, and are distributed to parents at the beginning of the school year, and of course that's now.
Now, did they take the place, I don't want to stop you, but did they take the place, I remember when I was in school, we took the C8, the CAT test.
Yes, the CAT has been replaced by the New Jersey Ask.
Okay.
Because in the past, every district had the right to choose the standardized test that they would give their students. Then the New Jersey Ask came, and all districts in the state have to give the same test. So the Ask has been in existence. The reports have been going out within the past week or two. Parents have been bringing them into Sylvan. And it's a really important test because it gives you a chance to see how your child is doing relative to what's expected at the grade level. So the magic point, the score of 200, is called proficient, which means basically everything's okay. Your child is on target, has the skills needed for successful grade level work. But a better score, of course, as the score goes up, you're happier with the results. 250 is called advanced proficient, and 300 is perfect. So anywhere between 200, yeah, right. Anywhere between 200 and 300 is a successful score. And what parents need to know too is change is coming. With the Common Core standards, the tests have been modified, the tests are evolving, and this coming spring of 2014, will be the last time that the New Jersey Ask is given in its present form. After that, new testing instruments are coming along. And parents, of course, will be learning a lot about that from their school district.
Everything's changing. In fact, I'm seeing a lot more iPads and laptops being used with young, my son.
We were speaking about that.
4.5 years old. I mean, he can run an iPad.
Yes.
Is that trend that changing in society? Is Sylvan moving more in that direction? Or is there more iPad instruction or laptop instruction that's being offered at Sylvan to meet the needs of what these kids are learning at such a young age?
This is actually the first time I have the opportunity to talk to parents about the change that's coming. To Sylvan, it's a very exciting time for us because our company is transforming the way instruction is delivered. Parents are used to bringing students to Sylvan, and they work at tables with certified teachers, and they work largely in paper and pencil material, in textbooks and with paper and pencil. Within the next month, 6 weeks at most, but probably within the next month, iPads are coming to Sylvan.
Wow.
And so Sylvan will look more like many of the schools are looking already, and what you're seeing at home too. So for students in our reading program or in our basic math program, they're going to be working at the table with the certified teacher, but on an iPad. So rather than shuffling paper, those lessons and that lesson material that the student is studying and working from will be on the iPad.
Amazing.
So we're very excited about it, and all Sylvans across the country are implementing that change.
I think it's a necessary change. I mean,
Yeah.
The biggest thing when we were in school, you were saying with the paper and pencil was you made sure you had a number 2 pencil. That was a big thing. You had to have a number 2 pencil.
Right.
Now it's the times are changing. Everything's going with the laptops and iPads, and I think that in order to be successful and to move with the times, you have to change with it.
Yep. Well, what's really exciting is the research that Sylvan has done before rolling this change out to the entire community. The research demonstrates that growth is stronger. Students are learning more at a faster pace. There is more of what we call time on task. Students focus better, they concentrate better, and it gives the teacher the opportunity to focus all of her attention on that student in front of her or him, rather than having to pull out pages or change books or do that kind of thing. So all that basically clerical part is eliminated, and everybody's so the research supports the fact. We knew kids were going to enjoy it. Any child, right? Yeah. Any child that walks in and has the opportunity to work on an iPad thinks that's
it's a game. Think there's a fun factor involved in that.
So the enjoyment was never in question, but the major question was whether the growth and whether the learning was going to take place, and all the results are great.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, even at 4.5 years old, we have some educational apps for my son that that he's doing and playing, and he thinks it's a game, and which makes it even all the better because he thinks he's playing a game, and in reality he's actually doing something where he's learning. So I think there's a good and bad. I don't think that the kids should be on iPads and laptops the entire time. I think kids still need to go out and experience stuff. And,
you bet.
I think a lot of parents use the iPad as a babysitter, and in that case I don't think it's good. But for what it's used for, I think it's a fantastic tool and something that everybody's going to have to eventually move towards.
Agreed. Well, there's a lot going on in education these days. You mentioned the core curriculum standards, and that's a uniform set of standards that the state of New Jersey has adopted, along with about 40 other states. It's an effort to standardize what's expected, to lay out what should be taught at the various grade levels, all the way from kindergarten to 12th grade, to ensure that students coming out of high school are prepared. Prepared either to go on with their education, which many do, or prepared for the world of work. So education has turned its attention to standardizing those expectations so that kids everywhere get a similar and high-level education.
That's fantastic. It sounds like Sylvan's doing a wonderful job with that.
We have built into our curriculum the core curriculum standards. So Sylvan curriculum is aligned with those, and then with the iPad coming along, it just all fits together.
Fantastic. Well, why don't you give everybody the contact information where, where Sylvan can be reached. This way, if anybody has any more questions or would like to talk to you in further detail, how they can reach you.
Sure. Parents can stop in anytime. We're at 305 Pompton. We're in Pilgrim Plaza, where the King's Supermarket is located, and I'm there all the time. So you're welcome to stop in. You're welcome to go to our website, which is veronaslvn@aol.com, or give me a call at 973-857-5412. But best of all, stop in and see me, and we can talk about a lot of different things that you may be wanting to discuss.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you
Thank
today.
you,
We'll
Anthony.
see you again soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Stay right where you are. We'll be back with our next guest very shortly. Welcome back, everyone, to the Verona Chamber of Commerce Roundtable. I am your host, Anthony Lombardi of Anthony Roberts Salon. My next guest is somebody that I think everybody around Verona will know. He's been around Verona for a very long time. And, of course, I'm talking about Bob Prout of Prout Funeral Homes. How you doing, Bob?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
First off, let's talk about your family and, in your firm and how you've been in this town for so long. Give me like a little back history about you guys in the West Essex, Verona area.
My grandfather started the firm back in 1924, so we're coming up on about 90 years in a couple of months. My grandparents ran the firm for many years on their own. My parents then took over, and my wife Meg and I are starting to have been running it day-to-day operation for the past couple of years. We're probably one of the older, if not oldest, businesses in town at this point. I think Brunner's and bars took us by a few months or a few years, and I think we're the survivor of that era right now. I think I come to this show with a slightly different perspective on Verona, in that we see families at probably their very worst time, but we see Verona come together at the very best. We see entire neighborhoods and the community, schools, the different classes come out for somebody who's younger. And in that regard, I think it's really a great testament to the way Verona is and why you would want to live in a small town.
Verona's a great town.
And we also, through our dealings living and working in town, we also get the opportunity to work with all the different department heads in the town government. We have some of the most wonderful people working for the town, and I don't think Verona has looked better in years.
That's good, and that's good to know, especially coming from somebody like yourself who's been around for so long and you've seen Verona, mature over the years. To see that it's in a good spot right now.
It's probably in one of the best spots. I can remember sitting with different town council committees back in the late 70s and 80s and trying to get improvements to the town center, and a lot of those improvements have taken place, and it really looks great, and it's just a great place to live and to work.
Well, it's good to know that everybody, if you see Bob, you could thank him for all his hard work over the years have helped get you the improvements that you're seeing and you're using today. One thing I noticed about you, and I drive down Bloomfield Avenue every day to get to my salon, and I've noticed the solar panels. And I'm sure I'm not going to be the first person that's asked you about the solar panels.
No.
But for the people that don't know, Bob has the big solar panels on the funeral home. And for people that don't know about what you're doing with them and how it's working out for you, maybe you could tell us like what the purpose and is it cost effective and what's the whole thing about the solar panels and how it's pertained to you over the years?
I started looking into solar back in 2004, and at that point, there wasn't a big groundswell for renewable energy. The rebates from the state were tremendous at that point. In 2005, we finally turned on, we put on 114 panels on our roof and turned them on. We went back to the state because the rebates were so good at that point in 2009, and we put up a fence across the back of the property with solar panels. We're now probably about 95% independent of public service as far as our electrical needs. Our electric bill used to be in 2004 roughly about $1,000 a month, and we're a fraction, maybe $200 or $300 a month at this point in time, which means that not only have we cut our expenses, but we've contained our expenses going forward. So if electric rates go up, and since 2005, electric rates have gone up probably about 45%.
Yeah.
We're still not, we're paying a fraction of what we would have been paying at that point. But what it's done also is we do offer tours to some of the community groups. We've had Lions Club, and we've had Scouts. We've had Sister Mary Agnes with Our Lady of the Lake has brought through a number of the 8th grade classes to learn about renewable energy and conservation of natural resources. But what it's done also for me is it's opened up a whole different avenue of what's traditionally a very conservative business. And I've ended up getting into greener funeral service. I've been doing speaking engagements, and it's just totally revitalizing my own career as far as what's traditionally very conservative funeral type of business.
You got to change.
You have to change. You have to stay up.
Constantly reinvent yourself.
You have to stay up with the current needs of families and what the consumer is actually looking for.
You were mentioning green funerals and speaking engagements. Tell me a little bit more about the green, especially the green funerals. I'd like to know about that a little bit more.
Green funerals, a lot of people our age, the baby boomers, we've grown up with the idea of recycling. We've grown up with the idea of living a little bit more conservatively, conserving our natural resources. We try to work out and try to stay fit. And it's just a continuation of that lifestyle is to have a greener service, not to necessarily use a metal casket, but to use a casket that's made out of renewable resources that's sustainably grown, something like wicker, bamboo, a native pine, not to have embalming with a formaldehyde-based solution. They have formaldehyde-free solutions right now. True natural burials would be even just being wrapped in a shroud and being buried in a natural burial cemetery. A natural burial cemetery would not allow a concrete burial vault. They would not allow a manufactured headstone. You could be buried in a field of wildflowers or in the woods under a tree. So there are a lot of different alternatives as far as that's concerned.
Are there many natural burial grounds in New Jersey?
Not too many. There's one Steelmantown Cemetery down by Atlantic City, burial for the gamblers. You've got the Mary Rest Cemetery. The Archdiocese of Newark is actually the first in the nation, first archdiocesan group in the nation to devote a whole section of their cemetery to nothing but natural burials. You've got Green Springs Cemetery up by Ithaca, New York. Over in Tarrytown, New York, there's a section of a cemetery, Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, which is a very historical cemetery. It has a natural burial section as well.
That's amazing. It was something that wasn't even up until speaking to you today. It was something that I would have never even known about. Like I don't think many people. Is it something that you're finding that more and more people are learning about, or is it something that you think still needs to get out there?
Once we did the solar, like you were saying, we were featured in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and we started getting calls from people about, we see that you're environmentally aware. Do you do environmentally friendly funerals as well? And like I said, it sort of opened up that whole different venue. And you're asking about the speaking engagements. What it's done also is kind of a byproduct of the solar and getting involved in the more of a conservation efforts. I've been asked to speak around the country to different funeral director groups. I've spoken in Colorado, Boston, Florida. I was just down in Arkansas speaking before a group. And not only funeral director groups, but I've spoken in Florida to the Association of Gerontology and Higher Education, which is a group of people involved in educating people that are eventually going to be getting into the elder care type of services.
That's fantastic. It seems to me like do you have enough hours in the day?
Hardly. Hardly.
And in speaking to different funeral homes and other funeral directors and everything, are there any other current topics that anybody needs to know about funerals? Anything going on in the the world of funerals right now, with the exception of maybe the green or the natural burials?
Well, the green and the natural is a little bit different. It's very old, but it's all new. But I think something that a lot of people really need to do is, at the very least, speak to their spouse or their partners or whoever's involved, they're involved with, as far as what they want to happen when their time comes. A lot of times we'll have people that have been married 50, 60 years come in, and the spouse is at a loss to what should I do? And when you stop to think of it, in any relationship, especially in a marriage or in a long-term relationship, most of the major decisions have been made jointly. You probably wouldn't go out and buy a car or buy a house or get siding on the house without consulting
Your spouse.
Your spouse.
significant other.
And all of a sudden, you've got this major decision, and your spouse is faced with making it alone. And that's why it's good to come in, make your plans, at least at some point in time it will happen. And the statistical information that we would need at the time can be kind of daunting at the time. Getting parents' names, mother's maiden name, social security numbers, all of that stuff that we need for the Board of Health. If you have it down ahead of time, it's going to make it a lot easier at the time. And that's not to say that you have to lock in all of your wishes right now. Obviously, times will change depending upon the weather, whether kids are at college, depending upon the circumstances. If you live to be 104 and most of your contemporaries are gone, obviously, but the statistical information and the general idea of what you're looking for would probably at least have the basis of.
So it's almost like putting together almost like a plan of what you want and giving yourself, the funeral or the burial that you want.
Absolutely correct.
Planning for that now.
But it's even more than that. At some point in time, you should also be doing it as far as estate planning.
Okay.
Anybody who's over 18 should be consulting with an attorney and have, if not a will, you should have a will, but if not a will, at least have a power of attorney to act if you land a healthcare representative, if you end up in the hospital. There are circumstances that we've heard of where an 18-year-old took the family car, no drugs, no alcohol, there is nothing foul, but just went to Pennsylvania to visit some friends, wrapped around a tree, ended up in the hospital. The parents went out to direct his health care, and the doctors at the time, legally correct, said, well, who are you? And the parents said, well, we're the parents. Well, how do we know that you're not estranged or whatever? It took them about a week and a lot of money to go to the courts to be appointed his guardian to be able to direct his health care. Anybody over 18 should be consulting with an attorney. I know a couple of schools that send a letter out to the parents of seniors saying your child is probably going to be turning 18 at this point in time. At the very least, have a healthcare representative appointed.
Again, it's something that
And how many, do you have one for your spouse?
Right, no. Yeah.
And if anything were to happen to your spouse, you would not, because the doctors wouldn't know whether you're separated or going through a nasty divorce.
It's like
and should probably want to, if you were separated, should probably want to pull the plug.
Yeah.
So
it really is eye-opening.
yeah, they're just, all of these end-of-life decisions should really be discussed ahead of time, just to make sure that your wishes are carried out.
Absolutely.
And more importantly than your wishes being met, that your family doesn't have the expense of having to go through legal paperwork with the courts, or have a court appoint somebody that doesn't really know you, your family, or anything about you.
Wow. go home and have a conversation with my wife later. She'd be like, "Who are you talking to today?" But with the exception of other than all the great work you've done with the funerals and environment, the solar panels and all that stuff, I found out that you're also involved in scouting.
Yes.
And you have been
For many years.
For quite some time.
Yeah.
How's the scout program doing in Verona?
The scouting program in Verona has always been very strong. We've always enjoyed a very, very good leadership, committee members and scout leaders. The Cub Packs in town are all doing very, very well. They're for the younger guys. The Scout Troop, Troop 2, is superb. We've got great leadership. We're very, very active. We go scouting, camping once a month. We just got back last night from Camp Terrell. Mm-hmm. We're up there for 3 days. Camp Terrell was started by one of our leaders in town. Scott Drucker's family donated part of the property for Camp Terrell. And the scouts still are enjoying it very, very much. We go for 10 days up at summer camp, usually up by Forestburg, New York. The program is very, very active for older guys and gals, older gals. We have a venture crew, which is like the old Explorer program that we were involved in when we were younger. And they went up for about a week up to Maine this year for backwater and wilderness canoeing. About a year ago, they went down to Virginia to do some rock climbing and whitewater canoeing.
What's the age that you can get kids involved in scouting? Like starting with the Cub Scouts, what would be
the Cub Scouts are younger. They're in the lower grammar school grades.
Okay.
The Boy Scouts are roughly from 11 to 18, and then the venture crew is just a little bit older than that.
All right.
So we pretty much cover it all, and just like I said, the leadership has always been great, and the kids that go on the trips are absolutely superb.
It sounds like it's thriving here in Verona, and there's a lot going on, and that's, again, it's a testament to the town and to the leadership and people involved and people that stay involved and get involved and really take the time to be a part of their children's adolescence and childhood. It's great.
Well, the Boy Scouts, the Cub Packs meet at different times, and again the dens meet usually in the homes or at the sponsoring organizations, and there are so many of them that there are a lot of different times. The Boy Scouts, the Troop 2 meets every Monday night at 7:30 up at the Congregational Church on Church Street in the basement. The church has always been very supportive of scouting in town. So if anybody's interested, just come up on any given Monday night. As long as they're in school, we're meeting on a Monday night.
Fantastic. Is there any, thank you very much. And
You're quite welcome.
Is there any contact information you'd like to give to the people who are watching right now?
I think everybody knows where we are. We're next to Home Liquors.
Yeah, next to Home Liquors, and if that's not enough, just look for the solar panels. You'll find they'll be easy to find. Well, Rob, thank you very much. It was a pleasure
You're
talking
quite
to you
welcome.
today. And
very nice being here.
I learned a lot today.
Good.
I learned a lot, and like I said, this is something I'm going to go home and research myself a little bit more because, like I said, it's something that does happen to everyone at one point or another, and you just want to make sure that you're not putting anybody in a bind.
But if something were to happen to you right now without the paperwork in place,
I'm not prepared. 100% not prepared at all.
If something were to happen to the two of you, what would happen to your son?
Exactly.
Who would be taken care of? Would the crazy aunt that you really don't care for be stepping in and taking care of your kids?
You're right. It's something.
So it's something that you've really got to prepare for.
Yeah, and I'm sure I'm not. I'm sure I'm in probably a majority.
You are.
Probably is a sad
You are.
part to say.
But it's things like this that get the word out that you've got to.
Yeah.
You've got to have this discussion ahead of time. Obviously.
It's a discussion that nobody really wants to have, but it's a discussion that has to happen.
Do you have insurance?
Yes.
Do you hope for a fire?
Exactly. No.
No,
Right.
but you have it just in case.
Just in case.
Right.
100%.
This isn't a just in case type of thing. This is going to happen.
It's going to happen.
So.
It's going to happen.
All right.
Well, Bob, again, thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.
And everybody, stay right where you are. We'll be back with our next guest. Excuse me. Everybody, stay right where you are. We'll be back with our next guest shortly. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone, to the Verona Chamber of Commerce Roundtable. I am your host, Anthony Lombardi of Anthony Roberts Salon. I would like to introduce everyone to our next guest, Steve Forte of the Verona Board of Education. Welcome, Steve. How are you?
Great to be here. Thanks.
Thanks for having us. Tell us a little bit about the Verona Board of Education. I've heard about the STEM initiative in elementary schools. Tell us a little bit about some of that.
It's something we're very excited about. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. It's a very big growth area in terms of careers for students when they graduate. what we decided to do was to push in, meaning that going right into the classroom was this new STEM initiative in cooperation with the College of New Jersey. The students are learning this program called Engineering by Design. It's taught by one of our teachers, Doc Siegel, and it's also run by our supervisor of science and math and the director of curriculum. It's a pretty amazing program. It's not found all over the place in New Jersey, where students in young grades like 3rd and 4th are learning about engineering as a career. One of the things right now they're working on is the water cycle, actually how there's engineering involved in making sure people have clean water to drink for the rest of humanity. And I believe that it's an area that other districts are going to start doing more of this. We're also going to work on expanding it into other grade levels.
Fantastic, fantastic. You were mentioning about Verona High School. Does Verona High School work with, one-on-one, or do they work with any colleges or universities?
Yes, we do. It's a pretty popular thing right now. I think it's a pretty amazing concept that we started just recently. We have cooperation now with Syracuse University, so students can take a class in accounting in our high school, and if they choose so, the parents can pay for credit from Syracuse University. The great part of it, though, is if you took that class at Syracuse, and it's the same exact class, it would cost $6,500 at Syracuse. In Verona High School, it costs $330.
Wow.
And the parents can transfer those credits to any different school.
That was going to ask you. So
Right.
that credit doesn't just necessarily apply to Syracuse. If you were to take it, you would be receiving college credits for a fraction of the price, and you could still apply that to whatever college you wanted to go to.
Exactly. Now, some schools don't take them.
Right.
So they have to do their homework on who takes them. But Syracuse has a fairly high name. It's a high-level name.
Sure.
And other school districts will take it. Other colleges will take it. Another thing there's a huge piece of this, other than this money savings, is you can just imagine how the level of the class rises due to the fact that it's a college class now.
Yeah.
So we have a class through Syracuse. We have one class through NJIT. It's called computer science. So students can take the computer science class, pay for the credits, and you get 3 credits from NJIT. We have 2 through Fairleigh Dickinson. We have our calculus class through Fairleigh Dickinson, and we also have this other thing called Tomorrow's Teachers, which is another, I think, an interesting concept. Students learn about being a teacher in the classroom, and then in the second half of the year, they actually go to our classes and teach.
Wonderful.
So they learn whether or not they want to be a teacher.
I think there should be more programs like that. It's like, I think there should be, people, they go into colleges, and I'm not saying anything, but, they say, I want to major in this or I want to do that, but they've never actually done it. This,
Right.
Something like this can give somebody, an insight into whether this is something that they really want to do before they spend all this time and money doing something that they find out once they get into the working world that I don't know if I really like this.
Sure. Well, one of the things that came up was Mr. Sisa, the principal of the high school, and I, we spoke about having these internships that we thought would be a very positive thing for the students. I said, why don't we start with our own organization? That would make the most sense.
Yeah, if you're going to do an internship,
Right.
bring them in here.
Right. Like if we wanted to do an internship with any other organization, now we have to build up the relationship with that organization. With our own organization, we're already set to do it.
Right.
So if we start with ours, it made the most sense. So we started this program. It's starting to take off. The students are interested in it. Another reason, it goes back to the thing about STEM that we spoke about. There is the U.S. Department of Labor is projecting teachers as being a big growth career due to the fact that several teachers came in with certain growth times and when there's births. Now those people are at retirement age, they retire. They're saying there's going to be 500,000 teacher openings in the next 5 years in the country. So it's
Wow.
it's an area of growth.
Wow. If anybody's out there looking to become a teacher, I think it's time's looking good for you right now, right?
Yeah, definitely. And we also have a relationship with Caldwell College. We offered psychology through Caldwell College. And the one thing that I'm really proud of, too, is our regular senior English class, the one that every kid takes. If you decide to take the class and pay for the credit, you can get 3 credits through Seton Hall University. Instead of paying $3,000 for it, you pay $225.
Amazing.
And I've spoken to a few parents who have been very happy that they were able to transfer the credit to their kids' schools.
The price tag for college is, it's no secret, is astronomical. So if you could save a few dollars here or there by taking some of these classes now, if you I think it's a no-brainer.
It's great. We're at 19 credits now. Our goal is to have 30 credits. That if you tried hard, now it wouldn't be easy.
No, I'm sure it wouldn't.
It takes a lot of work, and you'd have to do it over probably 2 years, maybe even 3 years, and maybe the summer between sophomore and junior year, then junior and senior year. You could graduate with a year of college done.
Wow.
Which would be a big savings, but also it also raises the bar. How many kids are in that? How many kids when you're competing for spots in colleges?
Yeah.
You know,
that can only help you too when when you go to apply to some of these colleges,
sure,
to let them see that you've already taken the initiative and you've also done this, while in high school. It would show me that you're serious about furthering your education.
Sure, it really separates. So you have all these different applications coming in, and this student now has a transcript from Syracuse University as well as his regular high school transcript. It's going to separate you.
It's going to help them boost.
Sure.
To get away from the high schools for a minute and the colleges, what about HB Whitehorn? What are some of the new initiatives planned for HB Whitehorn?
Right now, it's a great time for us. We are working on the new 5-year strategic plan. We just got it approved, so it's the beginning of this new plan. Part of the plan is to infuse STEM education in the district. One of the things we would like to do is grow that engineering by design program into the middle school. We have a great relationship with NJIT. One of the things when I got here I said to everybody, think about our location. We're within 10 miles of 2 law schools, a medical school, several universities, one of the best public technology universities in the country. Let's take advantage of that. NJIT is within 10 miles.
Right, you don't realize that.
We have a team going to NJIT later in this month to work with them on helping them infuse STEM into our district in the middle school. So the 3rd, 4th grade program, we want to at least build that to 5th grade for next year, so that we don't just teach kids 3rd and 4th and then we don't follow up with them and then they don't do it again into the high school. So for next year, we'd like to have another plan. And another really exciting thing about working with NJIT is they've asked us to come on board with them for a few grants. So we signed on for this grant, which is a pretty amazing concept, through the National Science Foundation. It's a federal government, and they got the grant, and we're part of the grant now. And the grant is to infuse pharmaceutical engineering into our school district. So our students eventually will have some units on pharmaceutical engineering.
Wow.
So we're doing a lot of things.
Sounds like you're doing a lot. Sounds like you're doing a lot of things.
I mean, this program with the colleges can just grow and grow.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great thing for the town.
Now, one more question I have for you. Now, we all know that there are some problems with the grounds and the buildings around the district. Is there a plan in place, and if so, what is that plan to help fix that, to help correct that?
Right now, we do have problems, and the good news is we do have a plan. To me, a bad thing is when you have problems and no plan to fix it.
Right.
Our plan is we need to invest in some changes in the buildings. We have several needs, and all these needs, after I list them to you, you're going to see there's no fluff. We need to replace our exterior doors. We have several doors in the district that have just outlived their lifespan. Mm-hmm. We have masonry issues. In other words, fake facades of buildings that are actually, beyond their lifespan and are starting to decay. We have paving issues. So masonry, paving, doors. Yeah. We have security issues. In light of all the school shootings that have happened over the course of the last 10 years, even going back to Columbine, we've studied those with some experts. And the experts have said these are the best practices. The best practices is to have an area where visitors would not be able to just have access to the building. They would have to be basically funneled into an area and then have access to the building after that. So they get checked, they get recorded, they have to provide identification, and then from there they can walk around the building, escorted or not escorted, depending on what the case may be. And to do that, we have to change some things in the buildings in terms of the entrances. So security, doors, we have heat issues. The high schools had a few times where the heat wasn't working properly, and it actually got down to 50 degrees in the gym last year.
And then you run the risk of freezing pipes, and that's a whole other issue.
So we had to close the gym for a little while. So we have heating issues. We have some overcrowding only in one area. The good news is, in the last referendum back in 2005, the district spent a great deal of resources to expand, and we're covered that way. We don't have an area shortage, a classroom shortage for students. The only area we do is in band. We have about 100 kids who take band, and we have a room suited for about 40 kids. So we need to expand that because it's really gotten, it's grown, the program's grown. We don't want it to stop growing, we want to continue it to grow. So we need a space for them. And so that's one area. And then the last piece is our all-purpose field. We have a field right now that's closed, and it's closed because there's been some sinkholes that have developed. So we've been working closely with 2 different engineering firms and the Department of Environmental Protection to come up with some plans to fix this. We can't just leave it there.
No, of course, it's a safety issue as well, right?
It's a safety issue. It's not what you would expect in Verona. That's been my speech since the beginning. When you come to Verona, you don't expect to have something that's closed. It should be repaired and be able to be utilized. And when we repair it, when we get this all off the ground, the field will be available for everybody's use, not just for football or for soccer. It'll be for band. It'll be for lacrosse. It'll be for all different sports. It'll be used for physical education classes.
Now, do you think there was a problem with, do you think the reasoning for some of these, like you said, the doors before outliving their lifespan, and why weren't these issues taken care of years ago? Do you think it was a budgeting issue, or do you think it was just, oversight on some people's behalf? I mean, or do you just think it's just something that most areas, most districts go through, and if it's not broke, don't fix it? Is that the...
Our discretionary funds, meaning the money that you can control, has gone down from about 1.8 million to about 900,000 in 10 years.
Almost half.
Right.
It is half.
And things haven't gotten cheaper.
No, they've got more expensive.
Right. So there's not a lot of money left in the budget to actually do some repairs as you're going along. So back in 2005, the board hired a firm to come in and say, what are our needs? They came up with about $60 million worth of needs. The board decided at the time...
900,000.
What was that?
With $60 million.
Right.
With 900,000.
Yeah. So you can't do $60 million worth of repairs with 900,000. So what happened was the board decided that we needed to do this referendum to make some changes in the district. They picked the $30 million of the worst stuff and said, I know we still are leaving $30 million on the table, but we're going to have to and do this later. So back in 2006, when they had the vote in 2005 and they started doing the construction in 2006, it addressed those $30 million in needs, but it left some other needs still there. So when the doors were identified back in 2005, they didn't just get better on their own, they actually got worse. So now we're at the point where we just need to go to another one. I think this, in this day and age, given the fact that you're living under caps and there's a lot of scrutiny from the state government on your budget, I think that this is going to be what you're going to have to do. Here's a very big positive thing about right now. The state has come out with these things called regular operating district grants. We're a regular operating district, meaning that most of the funding comes from our town. Almost all of the funding in our budget comes from the taxpayers, something like 92% around there. The rest of it comes from state and federal money. The great thing about this new program is that the state will pay 30 to 40% of the cost of this project. And if you don't take advantage of it, they don't just save it for Verona, they give it to whoever the next town is. So it's an opportunity to take advantage of getting some of the money back that we already send down in income tax, bring back some of that money into town. Here's a shot at it. So
it sounds like you guys are have a plan in place, and it sounds like that you are following this plan. And,
sure.
But the people I think have to realize that this is not a plan that happens overnight. This is not something that's going to happen. And you just have to be prudent. You just have to have patience and know that that the right people are in place to make the necessary changes and for the better of the children and the kids in town. And it's going to take some time. It's going to take some money, and everybody needs to help do their part.
Sure. Well, we're not leaving any stones unturned. We did this other thing called ESIP, which is an interesting program through the state also, where they look at areas where you can conserve, like in terms of your electricity.
We just had Bob Prout, and he was talking about the solar panels.
Great.
Yeah.
So we did that. We're doing that, and that's going to help us do some of the repairs without the taxpayers.
Right.
The other thing we did was we were able to bring in $107,000 in this last year in new revenue that didn't come from our taxpayers. And with that $107,000, we were able to put that money into what's called a maintenance reserve at the end of the school year, so that our buildings and grounds person can start pulling from that, for
okay.
things that aren't on the referendum, because
Right.
we have other needs too that pop up. You know,
daily,
something breaks,
something,
right?
you know, just daily wear and tear. And like you said,
Exactly.
things you don't plan for.
Exactly. So that's a positive thing too. So we aren't leaving any stone unturned. We're trying to do the best by the taxpayer, but also we have to take care of our buildings. We can't allow them to crumble.
No, you can't. Well, thank you very much. This is, very informative. I realized a lot, and you got a lot going on. But it's good to know that for the people of Verona that a plan is in place and things will get fixed, and the right stuff will happen for the people of Verona. But if anybody wants to reach you, you want to tell everybody how they can how they can reach you,
Sure.
how they can get to you.
Sure. Right on our website, which is veronaschools.org, you'll see my picture and all that. You can click on it. My email address is there. It's sforte@veronaschools.org. You also, what I'd love to see is a big group of people at the October 22nd Board of Education meeting. At that meeting, which is at 8 p.m. in the high school media center, we have a presentation by our architect and engineer on this plan that I'm just speaking about and what we're going to do to go forward with our buildings and grounds. Oh, another piece that I did leave out is a good chunk of the money is also to upgrade our technology backbone, which is severely lacking right now. So we need to make changes to technology just because things have grown, and the bandwidth and all the other things, and we have this new online assessments coming in that we need to be prepared for. So I would love to see a good group of people out at that October 22nd meeting. If you can't get out, you can watch it on VTV. You can also watch it on YouTube.
Get out there, support the community, support. You have kids in the school, you have people having, and you want your voice heard. That's the forum to have your voice heard and to say what you want to say about that. Am I correct?
Yes.
Well, again, thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Everyone, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure being back. Thank you for tuning in to the Verona Chamber of Commerce Roundtable. Once again, I am Anthony Lombardi of Anthony Roberts Salon, and I want you all to keep checking back for the next couple of months because we have a lot of exciting shows planned for you all. Thank you very much, and it was good seeing you all again.
With a lot of love, we found a home. Our friendships grow, 'cause we're not alone. Our children safe to follow dreams. Open your eyes, see what I see. Every one of you is a part of me, not just a town, a community. When you come to Verona, you are finally coming home. When you come to Verona, it's a place to call your own, and you learn what it means to be a family. The avenue where business thrives, our history has shaped our lives. What our fathers built, we have carried on. Though times may change, our beliefs are strong. When you come to Verona, you are finally coming home. When you come to Verona, it's a place to call your own, and you learn what it means to be a family. When you come to Verona. to Verona. You are finally coming home when you come to Verona. It's a place to call your own when you come to Verona. You're finally coming home and you learn what it means to be a family. When you come to Verona.